Hello and welcome to Political Theatre, Deccan Herald's special coverage of the counting day. I'm Ahmed Shariff, and over the next half an hour, we will take a look at the trends that have emerged from Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and Kerala. Now, before we begin, let me introduce you to our panel today. My co-moderator for today is our Deputy Editor of Deccan Herald, Mr. BS Arun. Hi, sir, and welcome to Political Theatre.
Hi, Ahmed. Hi, everybody.
Yes, and also joining us from Tamil Nadu is ETB Sivapriyan, and from Kerala is Arjun Raghunath. Welcome, both of you.
Yeah.
And also we have a special guest today. Now, joining us this morning are two guests who have, tracked elections for decades. First, we have Mr. Bhagwan Singh. He's a senior journalist who has covered Tamil Nadu since the late 70s and has, worked with popular magazines like The Week and Deccan Chronicle. And also joining us today is Mr. Venkatesh Kesri. Hello, sir, who has over 35 years of experience in journalism. He has worked with the Lokmat Group and Asian Age and has covered Parliament, the Congress, the BJP, and the regional parties. Welcome, gentlemen. It's great to have you today. Now, before we begin, right, so a quick note to our audience that we are streaming live on Deccan Herald's website, the YouTube page, as well as Deccan Herald's Facebook page. So please share the link, and we'll be looking forward to your queries and questions. You can send them by typing them in the comment sections. Now, first, let's get started. I'll come to Sivapriyan. Sivapriyan, Tamil Nadu has, 234 seats that have gone to the polls this time. And what are you expecting, the results to be today? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, as of now, Ahmed, it looks like the DMK will form the government, but not right now. The trends point out that it may not be a sweep as many expected and as it was reflected on the ground when I visited also. But we need to wait till about 11:30 to see which way the wind is blown in Tamil Nadu. But as of now, it looks like the picture is a little clear that the DMK will form the government, but maybe with the support of allies or something like that, if we go by the figures now. Right now, the figures that are coming on Tamil channels is that 128 for the DMK and 93 for the AIADMK plus, and in which the BJP is leading in 3. The Patali Makkal Katchi, a party very, very influential among 1 year's part of the most backward class section in Tamil Nadu. They are leading in about 11 seats, and the AIADMK, the major partner of the alliance, leading in about 81 seats. And if we go to the DMK front, the DMK is leading in 106, the Congress in 8, MDMK, which also contested on the DMK symbol, in 4, and the CPIM 3, CPI 2, and Vidudalai Sivathaigal Katchi, which is influential Dalit party, in 4 seats out of the 6 it's contested. So it looks like 128 for the DMK and 95 for the AIADMK. Looks like a very close fight as of now, but we need to wait and see how things pan out. But if you see, this is a very crucial election for Tamil Nadu. First time an assembly election is being held without the veterans M. Karunanidhi and J. Jayalalitha, and Edappadi Palaniswamy, the incumbent chief minister, and M.K. Stalin, the chosen successor of his father Karunanidhi, are fighting it out this elections, not just to become chief minister, but also to emerge as leaders in their own right.
Yeah. Arun sir, what is your reading of the election, sir?
Yeah, I think as Shiva said, what is expected was a sweep for the DMK, but looks like, at least as of now, the trend shows as of now, that sweep may not be happening. But these are early days, and still a lot of counting has to go on, and we might see even a sweep also. It's not that it cannot happen, but then we will have to wait, because, as I said, it's initial hours of counting. I think Bhagwan might give a good picture as to what is happening on the ground. Bhagwanji, please unmute.
Yeah, sorry. like what Shiva said and what you also have noted that the sweep is not happening as of now. But I still think it's a bit too early to say. But the initial trend, the voter mood, that sweep is not happening. We were thinking about the DMK independently, individually, getting something like close to 130, 140. But that doesn't seem to be happening. But we still have to wait and see. But nevertheless, the magic figure is 118. The governor would be obliged to call whichever party that has crossed that, individually, the simple majority, 118, and then the alliance, if they are able to provide a stable government, the government has to take a stand on that. If the DMK crosses that 118 and is able to drum up the support of the allies, keep the allies together, then that may not be difficult for the DMK, for Stalin to form this government. Because wherever we went, like Shiva also had traveled extensively, and my friends in the districts have told me, the people were talking about the desire for a change, and 10 years, the fatigue, all that. So there should be, all these factors might weigh ultimately on the results, but maybe.
I was coming to that question. One, what are the likely causes for a possible the ADMK? Is it Jayalalitha not being there, or 10 years of fatigue, as you said, or a 5-year rule which was marred by corruption, or is it the BJP being the main force behind ADMK in Tamil Nadu?
BJP being the main force is not going to help AIADMK in any way, because BJP still, it has very negligible cadre base here, and significantly large animosity, the public animosity, triggered by parties like, the Tamil nationalist parties like Siman's Nam Tamilar Katchi and down south. There's a lot of anger. Of course, there was, to go back more Modi and that kind of real rage was not evident. This time when Modi and others came to campaign. But nevertheless, BJP is not an advantage to the AIADMK. In fact, many AIADMK friends have admitted that it could be a drag as well. But then, if there is a government formation hitch, there is a kind of a very close fight, then definitely post-election, post-counting, a lot of maneuvering, that BJP definitely will be of use.
That would become an interesting spectacle.
Yes.
We have to wait for some more time. Let me turn to Venkatesh. Venkatesh, you have seen the Delhi politics for long. If DMK wins this election, then what is the likely scenario in Delhi, say, like in as far as the relations between the central government ruled by BJP and the state government ruled by an opposition mainstay DMK? Venkatesh, please unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Tamil Nadu has been known for taking state issues forcefully at the center. In the leadership under Karunanidhi or Jayalalitha or MGR, G. Ramchandran. But this time, current leadership of the Anna DMK, AIADMK, has not been so effective at the national level as it is in the state after the demise of Jayalalitha. But I think the next government, either whosoever will lead the next government, they will have to take up the state. They will certainly take up the issues of the state's issues forcefully at the national level. Earlier, Karunanidhi, NTR, and this Kerala and Jyoti Basu in West Bengal, they were the 4 states which were against imposition of the use of the 356. Now it will be interesting to see how the regional leaders can influence this national politics. But I think if DMK wins, then Stalin will have to carry the legacy of his father. But in case AIADMK manages to retain in power, then it will be a different story.
Yeah. Okay, Shiva. In the last Lok Sabha election, just 2 years ago, DMK and its allies won 38 out of 39 seats. In the light of that, DMK was expected. Now it looks like right now we have a difference of about 20-25 seats as far as the trends are concerned. So was it a surprise that what DMK was expecting perhaps may not happen?
Sir, I think it is too premature to say anything, because just now we got information that only one round of counting has been completed in many of the constituencies because of the COVID rules and so on. So some constituencies have 40 rounds of counting, some have around 37, 38, 25, 30, and so on. So I think it may happen, these figures may continue to remain the same. There may have been a difference of just 30 or 40 seats. But the DMK was actually thinking that it can pull this off election very easily. But the indication that things may not be as easy came in 2019, just 4 months after the Lok Sabha elections were won. DMK lost 2 by-elections in the assembly elections. So that was when the DMK realized that Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy may not be just a pullover. So that is when the DMK hired political strategist Prashant Kishore and started going big on this elections. So Mr. Stalin also worked very hard at this election, though the DMK felt that it was a very easy election for them. But it looks like, according to this trends, it looks like the ADMK has pulled off a very, very impressive performance under a so-called lightweight leader called Mr. Palaniswamy. And it is very fair to say that whatever the AIADMK fares, it is only because of the efforts of Mr. Palaniswamy, because none of the ministers, not even Mr. O. Paneerselvam, who happens to be his deputy, were campaigning outside their constituencies. Only Mr. Palaniswamy, as the chief minister and as joint coordinator of the AIADMK, made efforts to go to every constituency or at least every district in the state to campaign for the AIADMK. So whatever the AIADMK gets, I think the credit should go to Mr. Palaniswamy.
Yeah, right now the figures are like this: 125 to DMK plus and 95 to ADMK plus. So ADMK is giving a good fight, and which was until yesterday not much expected. So let's move over to Kerala now. Arjun, the initial figures in Kerala, can you please throw light on that?
Yeah, now the trends we are getting is that the LDF is leading in 91 seats, UDF in 47, and NDA in 2. Out of the 2, one is this Palakkad, the East Region is contesting, and one is Nemam, the lone sitting seat of BJP, where Kumandam Rajasekharan is contesting. Those are the 2 seats where the NDA is leading. So that is the initial trend, but that doesn't count at all because it's just the postal votes.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
because till last year only 700 postal votes used to be there in a constituency. Now it's almost 4,000.
Yeah, of course it does become crucial if the margin is low, narrow. But right now I think we need not bother much about that. What is significant is Kerala is bucking the trend almost. Yeah. I mean, if we go by the current figures, Kerala for the first time in about 40 years will be having a government which ruled in the last 5 years. So LDF may come back to power. And Venkatesh, what do you think? What are the reasons for the LDF if it comes back to power?
No, Kerala has always seen a close contest between LDF and UDF. This time, I think this left front has somehow managed to retain their grip over this in the elections, because the alternative, Congress and other its allies, have not been emerged so far. If the trends are to be believed, not emerged as a solid alternative. But anyway, Kerala has always been a different story, because always it's a fight between the 2 fronts, the LDF and UDF. So very hard. It is difficult to say factors can influence, because they're Christians, Hindus, and Muslims. They are equal people, say. And earlier, Attorney has also said after the defeat of the Congress party in 2014 that we should not be seen as pro-minorities, something like that. So Kerala has always been a close contest. I think if left parties, if LDF remains to retain, succeeds in retaining power at the center, in the state, then next election could be LDF versus BJP-led front. That is the speculation in the political circles. Because Congress, now it has to be seen how Congress performs in these elections.
Yeah, Arjun, what do you hear on ground, and what are the reasons for LDF doing fairly well right now?
Yeah, one key reason is that the opposition was not effective. The opposition, the main opposition, which is the Congress, lacked a proper leadership. And that is one major reason. And on the other side, the welfare initiatives of Pinarayi Vijayan government, especially during the free ration during this lockdown, and he enhanced social welfare pension to about 35 lakh people, which was just 600 rupees per month. That has been enhanced to 1,600 by this government. And another thing is that this pension dues were settled. There are no dues in pension. And even towards the last months of the government, or the last year, there were series of allegations against the government, like the gold smuggling, nexus of officials and politicians with those racket, and that's fishing trawler issue. A lot of allegations were there, but even then, the focus given by Pinarayi Vijayan was on the development and welfare initiatives he made. I think that, and also this about 3.5 lakh houses were provided to the poor people. He has been highlighting those issues actually. I think that is also one key reason, and a proper leadership. LDF got a proper leadership, strong leadership. Even the last election, there was a confusion because actually VS Achuthanandan and Pinarayi Vijayan was there. Actually, VS was leading the election last time, and this is the first election in which Pinarayi Vijayan is leading from the front. So the LDF manages to retain power. The victory is for Pinarayi Vijayan only. We will have to give him all the credits for that.
Yeah, credit goes to him. So the Shabarimala issue, the coronavirus issue, and then the Congress, where it failed, if at all. This is going to be the result in the final analysis. This is despite Rahul Gandhi.
Yes, you are right. Rahul's excessive campaign might have demoralized this state leadership, something like that, and it has intensified the factional fights in the state.
But during the initial days of campaign, there was a entire LDF wave. But towards the end of the campaign, that wave was not much visible, and the reason stated was the extensive campaign by Rahul Gandhi as well as Priyanka Gandhi. They conducted road shows in almost all districts, and that, it was indeed a crowd pulling show. On the other side, even BJP had a lot of union ministers. Every day, there used to be 1 or 2 union ministers campaigning in the state. But in the case of CPM, there were no these star campaigners. Only Pinarayi Vijayan was the major star campaigner they was having. That was why I said it was a one-man show, actually, we can say. It was a one-man show.
But coming to this one point of the campaigning style, right? I just wanted to ask all the panelists that do you see that this sort of campaigning style which Rahul Gandhi took in, like, going to college students and, having doing this cooking style with YouTubers and all, was that, not suited for, a sort of a battleground like Kerala and Tamil Nadu? What do you think about that? Mr. Kesri, would you like to answer that?
See, no. Chaco's resignation, number one. Number two, he has instead of bringing unity among the state, has tried to show that he is a powerful leadership, and I think that it has helped left front to some extent. Rahul Gandhi, was not as political because Kerala has been and sharp political polarization, which Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi's imposition, I think it must hit the polarization card in, but it could not succeed in Tamil Nadu. So I think if the UDF fails, Congress leadership.
I think we have some more time left, so we can go back to Mr. Bhagwan Singh, to know the latest. Shiva, can you tell us the latest, and Mr. Bhagwan Singh will take over after that.
Sir, according to the figures that are put out by some English channels, it is 121 for the DMK plus and AIADMK 59. This is put out by the English channels, and Tamil channels say DMK plus 130 and AIADMK 99, in which the BJP is leading in 3 seats, the PMK 11 and the AIADMK 85. And if we come to DMK, its DMK is 108, Congress 9, MDMK 4, CPM 2, CPI 2, and VCK 2. So this is the figures that we have got for now. But if we go by one English channel figure, which claims to be from the counting centers, it still looks like a DMK can manage somewhere around, DMK plus can manage about 150 to 160 seats.
Yes.
And sir, one point, if the AIADMK crosses 61 on its own, then Yadapadi Palaniswamy would have bettered the best figure that the AIADMK had managed to get while in an opposition. The last was 61 by Jayalalitha in 2006. And if he manages to get past that figure, then I think there will be no question of leadership issue in the AIADMK, and he will get to run the party. He can even override Mr. Palaniswamy and take over the party. And but I think Bhagwan sir would be in a better position to say about this.
Yeah, Mr. Bhagwan, where do you see this ADMK going if this is the final result?
No, if ADMK is able to form the government in spite of whatever is going to happen, as far as the trends are showing, then Palaniswamy, yes. But as Shiva said, if he crosses that, the record of Jayalalitha, he is consolidating. But even then, this may be for today, but in course of time, if Stalin is going to form the government, there's going to be a lot of migration from the AIADMK, I'm expecting. And the BJP has its own plans for 2026. They're not going to leave it in the hands of Palaniswamy and the AIADMK. It has its own plans. Right now, the BJP is not a big force. To add on to what my friend Kesri Venkatesh was talking about, the Congress and in Tamil Nadu also. In Tamil Nadu particularly, Shiva would have already told you, Congress is a joke here. When they formed the committees to oversee the elections, there were about hundreds of them. The Congress is a party of a few netas and absolutely zero cadres. And unless the Congress at a national level does a huge rethinking, tinkering of the leadership, I think it's going to be a miserable failure, particularly down south.
And they got more seats to fight than what they deserved, perhaps.
Absolutely. In fact, the DMK alliance was focusing on all those Congress seats.
Yeah.
Right. I think we are the time's up, sir. So can we have the closing comments from everybody? What do they think that how will the elections go about from now?
I think we can start with the experts, Venkatesh and Bhagwan.
This is going to be a tough elections for national parties, number one, because it is taking place in the middle of this corona crisis. The way BJP has conducted itself in West Bengal is highly objectionable. People are not liked. People, actually, Modi and Shah, they are under attack. The way they have managed the campaign in West Bengal, the way they have attacked the Chief Minister and Lady Chief Minister. So it is not going to help BJP in the long run, because BJP under Vajpayee and Advani and BJP under Shah and Modi is totally different. But yes, the BJP has played the polarization card forcefully in 3 states, barring Tamil Nadu, because they have not succeeded because they don't have the face. They did not have the face, and they relied on Kamal Hassan and Rajnikant, but that did not work in this election. But they will certainly try to make inroad in Tamil Nadu. And these elections are mini elections. If Modi factor does not work in this election, then it will have a bearing in the coming Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat elections also. Last time, GST and demonetization had played a big role in Gujarat Assembly elections. The BJP failed to cross 100 seats. It was stopped at 1999, only 99 seats. So these are the interesting elections. Let us see how the BJP changes itself, or the regional parties and Congress again play. They will have to realign. They will have to think about the bigger political picture in the coming days.
Well, continuing with what Venkatesh had said just now, as far as the BJP is concerned, BJP planning is concerned, you've seen in the neighboring tiny union territory of Pondicherry, where they have teamed up with the NR Congress. They are doing good, and that's the whole thing. That was the strategy to kind of move into Tamil Nadu. The strategy was to somehow get into power in Pondicherry and pump in huge central projects there, like Karaikal Port and other things, and showcase to the people of Tamil Nadu, see the development that happens if Modi is voted, if Modi is preferred over the others here. And that seems to be the 2026 strategy for the BJP. Whether it will work, particularly if AIADMK fails and there's going to be a lot of moving around of party people, and BJP is able to get some political muscle. Already they have recruited quite a number of grassroots level, ground level people. In fact, there was an accusation made by one of the DMK leaders saying that they have recruited a lot of gundas from the other parties. But whatever it is, gundas are part of the
Indian party, yes.
System. Particularly they form the muscle of the political party during election time. So the BJP in 2026 might make a strong bid on the AIADMK, ashes. But as far as this, what will Stalin do? What will Stalin's be equation with the BJP, with Modi at the center? I have heard the BJP leaders, even in Tamil Nadu, saying, we have already ready. We have already started talking to the DMK. If the DMK comes to power, we have no problem with Stalin. Only Edappadi will have a problem. So any chief minister of the regional party, it has happened in the past also, we'll have to deal with the center. We'll have to do business
yes.
Center, and I don't think Modi will be averse to that.
Okay. Yeah. Arjun, final comments?
Yeah, for the CPM, if they retains this power in Kerala, it's very significant at the national level also, because Kerala is a lone state where they are in power, and I think this will also add to the strengthening of left parties, the national level also, if the CPM retains power in Kerala. That is the general feeling, apart from this Congress and BJP's performance.
Yeah, Shiva, finally, give the Puducherry figures and then we can wind it up.
So Puducherry, it looks like for now, the figures that we get is NR Congress, BJP, ADMK alliance is 9 and the Congress DMK alliance is just 2. So Puducherry, it was expected that the NR Congress, BJP alliance would sweep the polls, in fact, because the Narayanaswamy government was reduced to a minority at the last minute and the government also fell on the floor of the assembly.
Yeah,
so it was expected.
Right?
6 and 9 and 2. Out of 30, trends are available for 12, of which 9 is for NR Congress, 2 for Congress DMK alliance, and 1 for others. This is the figures that I'm coming. And so one quick point on Tamil Nadu. Already the EC trends have started coming for about 175 seats, in which the DMK is ahead with 1995 and the AIADMK being pushed by another 30 seats. So the AIADMK is around 60-62. So we cannot guarantee that things would not change at all. The DMK could shore up its numbers up to about 160, 170, which means the AIADMK coming below 60 or 55. So even then, I would say that 50 for AIADMK with no Jayalalitha and with BJP with it, and a lightweight, in double quotes, so-called lightweight leader. So I think it would be a big achievement for the AIADMK, even if they manage to go beyond 50 seats.
Okay, thank you, Shiva, and thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All of you. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for joining us, and to all our audience, we will be back at 11, where we'll see all the 4 states and the Union Territory, how they are faring. So we'll see you then.